What were the animal shapes?
Well, it's a lion, a hippo, and a camel.
Isn't that a rhino in the middle?
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. President Trump has described CNN's Don Lemon as the dumbest man on television. And this week, Lemon went out of his way to prove that Trump is right, as Lemon failed to accurately identify an animal on the mental acuity test that he was mocking the president for doing well on.
What were the animal shapes?
Well, it's a lion, a hippo, and a camel.
Isn't that a rhino in the middle?
A rhino.
You don't even know a hippo from a rhino.
Of course he doesn't. But, you know, in seconds, even Fredo's mind quickly goes all Joe Biden on him.
What does it mean if you don't know an elephant from a rhino?
An elephant?
What'd you say? A hippo? You thought the rhino was a hippo?
I told you I was looking at it backwards.
CNN doesn't do very well on mental acuity tests, but they can't let it go. CNN's Aaron Burnett tried to downplay the value of Trump's score on the test, and in a Thursday interview with the test developer, watch her look of disappointment when she doesn't get the answers that she was hoping for.
But I'll bet you couldn't even answer the last 5 questions. I'll bet you couldn't. They get very hard.
Is that fair? The last 5 questions are hard and you know, a fully normal person who didn't have any memory issues would answer them, would have trouble?
Actually, I think it's referring to the 5 words question because it is challenging. Some people get only 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. So it's not everyone who gets 5 out of 5 or 30 out of 30. Like I mentioned before, only 10% of normal individuals get 30 out of 30.
Wow.
Wow is right. Please contact the number below for Wayfair and let them know how wowed you are by their support for this type of mental programming. Over on MSNBC, Joe Scarborough doesn't do well mentally at all, really, but he's a little wound up this week. President Trump gave a measured press conference performance on the coronavirus on Tuesday, and if Trump is having a good day, you can bet Joe isn't.
Once in a while, he reads a script. Once in a while, he doesn't say something that makes the lives of senior citizens and diabetics and people with asthma hang in the balance. Once in a while, he doesn't say something that encourages Americans to abuse store clerks because they think that Americans have fought and died for over 240 years so they could have the constitutional right to kill senior citizens, to kill diabetics, to kill people with asthma, to kill their family members, and to kill others. And I'm not being sarcastic here, do what Joe Biden told you to do.
That moronic meltdown brought to you by Volkswagen. Please call the number below and ask them why in the Farvanugan they support that. But for now, let's get back to Joe.
Do what Joe Biden told you to do.
I don't want to go out on a limb and say Scarborough and MSNBC are a non-stop campaign ad for Joe Biden and his plans, but I will give you a condensed first half hour of Tuesday's Morning Joe.
They would love him to follow the Biden plan. Follow the Biden plan. Just follow the Biden plan.
Does he need to call it the Biden plan? The Biden plan, the Biden plan, it's the Biden plan, it's the Biden plan, the Biden plan.
The Biden plan, the Biden plan, or the January 28th, 2020 Biden plan. With the Biden plan, with the Biden plan. Let the Biden plan, the Biden plan, follow the Biden plan. For God's sake, follow the Biden plan. You should have followed the Biden plan.
Did you get the hint, maybe?
Do what Joe Biden told you to do.
I don't think Biden told you to call Choice Hotels, who sponsored that segment, but I'm going to. As you may remember, at the start of the year when Second Amendment supporters rallied in Richmond, the media predicted violence and terrorists and white supremacists were going to be everywhere.
The Virginia Capitol is bracing for violence ahead of next week's gun rights rally. Officials are concerned it could be a rerun of the deadly Charlottesville protests.
This morning, Virginia on high alert, just days before thousands of gun rights activists are expected to rally at the state capitol.
The event, of course, went off peacefully, but now, now the leftist media wants you to know how ordinary those people running about smashing and burning things in Portland are.
A real cross-section of society has been out protesting, ordinary people of different political persuasions. There are also some anarchists that have been out for the violence. But again, lots of ordinary people.
Lots of ordinary people wearing helmets, gas masks, attacking authorities, even barricading a building with federal agents inside and attempting to set the building ablaze. You know, ordinary attempted murder. It happened in Portland Wednesday, but CBS Evening News didn't find Portland to be worth covering. So ABC gave it 28 seconds and NBC gave one-sided coverage. Here's a look.
Next to the chaos in Portland, Oregon, the mayor now tear-gassed by federal officers during a protest. Mayor Ted Wheeler outside the federal courthouse with hundreds of protesters suddenly engulfed by thick tear gas. The mayor now calling it flat-out urban warfare, telling the New York Times he saw nothing to provoke that kind of response. Protesters setting off fireworks and ripping down protective fencing.
Overnight in Portland, protesters stormed the federal courthouse, some launching flares and fireworks over the steel barricade. Federal agents respond with tear gas. Portland police declared a riot. Protester Jennifer Christensen was arrested by federal agents. Like Wheeler, she wants them out.
I want to be cared for by members of my own community. We have very little need for policing.
Yeah.
I want to be cared for.
Believe it or not, that was not the most frightening moment from the mainstream media this week. That would come from the new MSNBC show, The Readout with Joy Reid, where Joy reads out all her homophobic, hateful blog posts in the past. No, of course not. It's not about that. Instead, she invites Joe Biden on to scare the crap out of everyone by saying this.
By the way, we were thinking of you as vice president, but then you took this job. By the way, we were thinking of you as vice president, but then you took this job. By the way, we were thinking of you as vice president, but then you took this job.
Try not to have nightmares. I'm Eric Shiner for MRC-TV. Please check out the great conservative gear at mrc-store.com. Great stories and videos at mrctv.org. Please like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be back with some more living leftist media nightmares next week.